If there's more than one thing you think, how many things are in there?
That is not solid. Grape juice.
All right. Voices off. Class.
Yes.
Voices off. So that you can hear my questions. Raise your hand if you can tell me one thing about this that you know. I don't want to guess. Something that you know. Something that you could see, touch, smell, hear. James. It's colorful. That is true. That is a true statement. Chase. It's inside a jar. Correct. Helen? It's wobbly. What's it? It's
Marina.
a liquid.
Marina.
Hey, Marina, can you close the door for me, please? Thank you. Ty, what else did you see?
Yeah.
Something that's true, that you know is true.
Oh, that is oil.
Okay. But do you know that?
Yes.
Okay, so Ty thinks he knows there's oil inside.
Yeah, it is.
How did you come about that?
Because if it was a regular liquid, it would all mix together and make one color, but oil can present itself or whatever, like it's same thing, and move apart instead of go together.
Good. Okay, so Ty used what he already knew about liquids to determine that there's probably oil inside. Whereas you know colors, so you said it's really colorful.
It is.
You used something that you already knew in order to say something true about this jar. What you guys just did is the first step of the scientific method. It's called observation. You made an observation about something that you know nothing really about, or possibly some things about, and you said by what I see, what I hear, what I smell, what I can touch, and we didn't taste it, because I'm not going to let you do that, or by what I can taste, I know something about this. So do this with me. An observation is an observation. So I'll say something and then you repeat it. An observation is something you can hear, smell, taste, or touch, or see. Sorry. So do the hand movements with me. Ready? An observation is something you can hear, see, smell, taste, or touch. So we use our 5 senses in order to make an observation. An observation is the first step of scientific method. Nathan, don't distract him. Your eyes should be on me too. Second, what do you think this is? That's the second step, is you ask a question. A question could be, what is inside that jar? Another question could be, I just want to know what that blue part is. What is that blue part? Okay, you can kind of see when I pull up to the light, there's different colors in there. What's a question you have about this, Ty? Ask a question.
I wanted to answer one.
I don't need an answer. I don't need an answer quite yet. Does anyone have a question about the jar? Olivia? James? Turn. Okay, so you're asking, why is it in straight lines? That's your question. Parker, what's your question?
Why the red part, if you look at your reflection, it's upside down?
Why is there 2 different red parts? Is that what you're saying?
No, like, if you look at the red part,
Yes.
it'll show your reflection upside down.
Okay, so his has nothing to do with what's inside the jar. He's like, why is my reflection upside down on the outside of the jar when I look at a certain part? Does anyone else have a question about the jar? Helen.
Why does it have to be in the jar?
Why does it have to be in the jar?
Toxicity.
It's a good question.
Because it's liquid.
No, that's not a question. Anyone else have a question? All right, so the second step of scientific method is that you ask a question. So everyone do that with me. The second step of the scientific method is that you ask a question. Make a question mark. Is that you ask a question. what's the second method? What's the second step of the scientific method? Ask the question. Okay. Number 3. I want you to tell me an answer of what you think is inside. James, what do you think is inside? It's full of liquid. Just plain liquid, just all the same liquid? You think it's, so what do you think? Tell me everything you think.
It's colorful.
Okay, so he thinks there's colorful liquid inside. Nate.
I think there's like different kinds.
Nate thinks there's different kinds of liquids. Helen, what do you think?
Jello?
Okay, Helen thinks maybe there's different colors of Jello in there. That's what you think? Ty, what do you think?
That there's oil with like some kind of like food coloring or something in it, and it's oil, and it goes away from the other oil that's different colors, and like they're not mixing together. It's like different colors.
Okay, so this is what I think you just said. It's different oils, and so that's why they're not mixing together.
No, it's the same oil. It's just different colors.
Okay, so it's the same
it
oil,
makes
just
it
different
kind
colors.
of- Yeah.
Okay, okay. Parker?
Can you tip it upside down so I can see?
I cannot shake it. I can't tip it.
Just like, oh.
If I tip it, I don't know if it'll stay.
If it'll taste good.
Okay, so that's an answer of what's inside though. That's a question,
Yeah.
right? So we're on the next step.
Oh,
But that would be a good question. What does it taste like? Jacob?
I think it's 4 different kinds of oils.
You think it's 4 different kinds of oils? Okay. So what you just did is you created a hypothesis. Can everyone say that with me? Hypothesis. Say it again. Hypothesis. You, based on what you already know, Tristan, James, Nate, based on what you already know, you created a possible answer to what's inside the jar. Or an educated guess. So, the third step of the scientific method is to create a hypothesis. So you create a hypothesis. Everyone do that with me. Create a hypothesis. You're saying, I think. Ty's like, I think there's oils in there. And Helen's like, well, I think there's Jello inside of there. Okay, so you're creating a hypothesis. That's the third step of your scientific method. The fourth step, which we won't do today because we're going to do more later, is that you create an experiment in order to find out the answer to your question.
What is that though?
So I'm going to tell you, because we're not going to do an experiment. So what you would do is, based on your question, you would do an experiment to find out what was in the jar.
You can't taste it.
So that would be your fourth step. So Brandon, your fourth step is that you create an experiment. So we're going to pretend like we have goggles on. In science, in the lab, you wear goggles to protect your eyes whenever you do an experiment. So these are our scientific goggles, and that's our fourth step of our scientific method. Say, boys and girls, are you with me? Nathan? You say the fourth step of the scientific method is you create an experiment. Ready? The fourth step of the scientific method is to create an experiment. The fourth step, say it again. The fourth step of the scientific method is to create an experiment. What are we doing with our goggles? Create an experiment. I'm going to tell you what's inside the jar. Everyone's hands down. Eyes up here. This jar has 6 different liquids inside. 6. The very bottom one, and it's kind of mixed right now. It didn't really stay separated. That's why I didn't want to shake it. The very bottom is honey. Okay. The second layer was supposed to be kind of a clearer layer, and they mixed together. It's just syrup. It's like a maple syrup.
Yum.
The third layer, which is kind of blue, but it's hard to see. You kind of have to hold it up in the light. It's Dawn dish soap. It's just dish soap that you use to clean your dishes.
It looks simple now.
Brandon,
Oh, it
I need your voices off. The next layer is just dyed water. It's water and I put color dye in it, or food coloring, and it's supposed to be red. So that's the next level. This level, which Ty was kind of on the right track, is vegetable oil. So above the water is vegetable oil. That kind of creamish looking color. The top part is not Kool-Aid, it's rubbing alcohol. And the dye from the water kind of bled to the top, and it dyed that rubbing alcohol. Yes. Rubbing alcohol is used for injuries. You use them to clean it out.
Oh my gosh, I remember my brother's eyes kind of burns. Could you tip it over
I can try in a second. Boys and girls. Okay, the reason they're not mixing together, has anyone heard of the word density before?
Yes. I've heard it, but I don't know what it means.
Okay. When liquids have different densities, they don't mix together. Have you ever seen oil and water mixed together? You shouldn't, because oil will be a film on the top of the water. When you do dishes, if you've seen your mom or dad do dishes, or you've done dishes, and there's oil in the pan and you put water in there to clean it, that oil kind of sits on the top. It looks like bubbles in the water, kind of. Okay, so they won't mix. I'm going to try and tip it and see what it'll do. It might ruin it, but that's okay, because I have more. I'm not going to shake it. But if I tip it, it should. The honey is really, really thick, so it's probably not going to stay. But look at that blue.
Now tip it upside
It's
down.
going and it's not sticking in that oil, and it's not staying in the rubbing alcohol.
Don't shake it. Says that right on
The honey is kind of taking a while because it's really thick. But it'll work its way over. See how it's working its way over here?
You should tip it upside down. Whoa.
Okay, the honey's probably going to stay on the top then.
Whoa, man. Wow. Wow.
I mean, really, it's staying pretty separated.
They don't like each other. Get off!
So they should mix, but I'm not going to shake it because I think it'll ruin it. So now you guys just did what's called the scientific method, which we're going to read about later. You shouldn't turn those out. I told you to put it away. So now I have a video for you to watch.
I'll turn off the lights.
That would be great. Brina and Ty, have a seat. Ty, have a seat.
Years.
Your voices need to be off and you need to be turned to the screen. James, that's not turned to the screen.